2, go.
Hey, everybody, this is Amazing Fantasy Football. I am Josh, and over there is the malarkey to my winters.
Chris.
Yes, and that is from Band of Brothers. I have been watching it.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen it before, man.
Oh,
and
really? Congratulations.
Wow.
Good on you for getting around to it eventually.
Yeah, dude. I was like, before I get rid of this HBO thing, what do I need to watch?
Dude,
I was like, Band of Brothers, of course, and it is not disappointing. Dude, it's like every episode's like a mini Saving Private Ryan.
Great choice. I have 3 things to say. First of all, it's probably been a decade since I've seen it, but I remember how amazing it was. Secondly, speaking of HBO, I am knee deep in Barry. Love Bill Hader. Absolutely love the show.
I've never seen it, so that's why I'm giving it a.
And I forgot my number 3. Let's continue. It wasn't that important.
Okay.
It wasn't that important.
Oh, did you watch House of Dragons?
No, I haven't started.
Yeah, me neither.
You know me. I'm so behind on TV right now.
I don't know. I'm not ready for it yet. There hasn't been enough time in between.
I might be more excited about the Lord of the Rings thing on Prime, right? Yeah, Prime.
Yeah. By the way, don't watch Paper Girls. I started it and I'm like, oh boy, this is not good. Maybe not since you haven't read the comics, you might like it, but I have, and I was like, this is. And I don't mind them restructuring the story from the comic. That doesn't bother me. It's just there's something about it that I can't quite put my finger on. That I'm just like.
Is that DC?
No, it was an Image book.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Good old Image.
Good old Image. Anyways, we are Amazing Fantasy Football. By the way, Chris, I'm doing all right.
How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing just fine. We are here to do some tips and tricks this week because drafts are happening, and we figured all y'all would like some last-minute tips and tricks. Some of these are going to be rehashed from like last year. I didn't go back and listen to last year's show because so busy, so busy with work.
Yep. We're dead on time, but I'll be honest, we were both rushing a little. But no, my notes are solid. The tips are solid. It's the right time of year to do this. You want to tease next week?
Next week is blank.
A form of, how would you put it? Rankings? No, it's not rankings. We're going to do a round.
I know. I'm not going to shower before it. I'll be plenty of rank.
We're going to do. You did. Yeah, we're going to do basically a pick-by-pick mock. What I mean by pick-by-pick, we will pause for a second, meaning me and Josh will be human.
And we'll pick our nose.
Yeah, so we won't have a 30-second or a 90-second clock. So we'll have a minute to say a few sentences on said player, basically giving our de facto rankings, consensus de facto rankings in that regard. So tune in, man. It's going to be good. It's going to be great.
Says you're not the one that has to edit it.
Let's be quick.
Like in bed.
Amen.
All right, Chris. So let's. You like to kick us off with the news? Let's go with some news.
All right. I'm going to start off with some of the bigger news, and then we'll go on from there. Tyron Smith, the left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, tore his hamstring off the bone. He's out indefinitely.
Ew.
There's a term for that, medical term. I didn't have time to look it up.
I believe the medical term is ouch.
Right. Avulsion? Avulsion. I think it's with a V as in victory. Avulsion, maybe? Anyway, that's what happened. This guy's been hurt a lot. It's been back. I mean, even at this age, he's a physical specimen of a guy. Anyway, it relates to fantasy, obviously, with the running.
Not when he doesn't have a hamstring.
Yeah, right. This obviously affects fantasy as far as the running game and passing game of the Dallas Cowboys, a vaunted offense that we're, at least were somewhat excited about.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, I have a tab, but we'll move on. I don't need to quote anything there.
What position did he play again?
Left tackle. May I remind you, this
important tackle.
Of course. Oh, dude, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer All-Pro. Let's be clear. But he's been hurt a lot the last few years. May I remind folks at home, they took Tyron Smith with their first overall pick. I'm going to say Boise State. I forgot his school. It might have been Nevada. I forgot. Point is, he is pretty heralded. He was slotted to start at left guard, meaning he's similar to Tyron Smith. They want to put him at a guard and work him outside. over the next year or so. So
it sounds like it's going to be this year, not next year.
Well, I have no.
Anyways, let's
move on.
going.
I have no news on that. There was one last thing on that, Josh. Oh yeah, the guy that got picked up by the Jets. He's off the board. Dwayne Brown, right? So
yep.
That's out of the cards. Okay, onward. Darren Waller is still injured. He is becoming uncertain for Week 1. Thought that was worthy mentioning around draft time. I'm sure we all probably saw it on Twitter or live or on YouTube or whatever. Kayvon Thibodeau, what would you call him, an edge rusher for the Giants, sprained his MCL. He is getting a second opinion. The term no significant damage to the knee has been used.
Also, no significance to fantasy football.
The Panthers made it official, announcing quarterback Baker Mayfield as their starting quarterback.
Yeah, okay. How does that make you feel about... Nope. Oh, how does that make you feel about DJ Moore and like Robbie Anderson, CMC, that sort of thing?
To answer quickly and from my gut, I'm still worried about DJ Moore. I'm the guy who traded him away in the offseason. He's kind of to be fair, he's kind of a perennial high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1, right? About 1,000 yards, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of where he lands. So he's been pretty consistent with bad quarterback. I just have these visions of Baker and Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis and just lack of excitement in fantasy production. So I'm worried still.
I think that I've said this in the past and I firmly believe it. I think that DJ Moore is probably the best wide receiver teammate that Baker Mayfield has ever had. Odell Beckham is not a teammate. He is a throw me the ball. Why aren't you throwing me the ball? He's probably more in his heyday. He was probably more talented than DJ Moore. Hard to say. Hard to say. But he was not doing anything to help along a young quarterback either. So, and from what I've heard about DJ Moore talking about his quarterbacks, he's been encouraging, not discouraging.
He's always been quiet. Yeah, he's not. He doesn't come off like a diva like a lot of wide receivers.
Exactly. But Robbie Anderson, same thing.
I will say this: at the height of his powers, Odell Beckham Jr. was a better player. But that height of his powers only lasted a few years, honestly. Like
if that,
a flash in the pan. If bias. Anyway, let's stick with the Panthers for a moment. Panthers rookie quarterback Matt Corral has a Lisfranc injury that is likely season-ending per coach Matt Rule.
I think they came out and said it was official now, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad. I think in our dynasty chat, I was like, "Hey, keep an eye on Riddle and Corral." Ritter, thank you, and Corral, and I had missed the news until this point. Let's go back to quarterbacks real quick. On the other coast, Pete Carroll for the Seattle Seahawks says we're going to take all the time we need to choose a quarterback. Are we surprised?
Because they don't have a good one.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
We have 2 QB1s. You have 2 QB nuns.
There we go. Let's stick with Seattle for another bullet point here. Pete Carroll said Rashad Penny has COVID-19 and will miss Friday's game. Very minor symptoms and should be back with the team soon. Moving on. Report, running back Darrell Williams could be cut or traded. That's the Arizona Cardinals, backup, if you want to put it that way. Did you roll your eyes on that one?
No, I said, okay.
A little concerning, yeah.
A little bit. I'm trying to downplay it, all right? Just settle down, all right? Yeah, move along. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Matt LaFleur, head coach, Green Bay Packers, calls Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon running backs 1A and 1A. They're 2 of the premier backs in our league. In my opinion, they can do anything. The Raiders plan to release...
That was Matt LaFleur, not you, by the way.
I said Matt LaFleur.
I know, but I'm just clarifying. That's all.
The Raiders plan to release veteran
Josh Jacobs,
Kenyon Drake, per source. Baltimore. Let's stick with running backs.
That was me, by the way. That was the source.
Oh no!
Actually, I just retweeted it, but yeah.
I don't have. I have the tab open if we need to dig deeper.
I think it was Schefter that I originally retweeted it from. But anyways,
I'm just saying I wasn't sure if it's beat reporter or if it was confirmed, but it seems like that's going to happen. Baltimore placed Gus Edwards on PUP, so he will miss weeks 1 through 4. Stick with running backs for another moment. Ron Rivera.
Wait, is that for sure that he's going to start the season on the PUP, like the actual regular season?
No, I think they have done placed him on. They have done placed him. Where was I raised? Goodness gracious.
Texas.
They have placed him on the PUP. So yes, he's slated to miss 1 through 4. as far as I remember the pup rules. That's
But I mean, it's still preseason, right? And so that he can still come off it at any time, right?
No, I think they're reaching the point of no return where they have to place him on pup.
I gotta look this up, man. I
regular
gotta
season.
right. I'm gonna add to the list of objective versus subjective, and how to spell hippopotamus.
We might get to it by the end of the season, folks. Stay tuned.
Okay. Anyways,
Ron Rivera on if running back Antonio Gibson will be the team's top kick returner this season. You still need to see some more, quote, you still need to see some more stuff, but, I think he is. I do. I think he's done a nice job, close quote, for whatever that's worth. Moving on. Kyle
how
Shannon,
do you, okay, whoa.
You want to touch on it? You want to touch on it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need to talk about this. How do you really feel about Antonio Gibson? So last week in our QB early draft mock draft that we did, he went in like the 3rd round. Dude, how can you draft him before like the 5th?
My answer is
it
entirely depends on what round. It entirely depends on ADP. I will say this much. He has been a running back one both first years of his career, and he's gotten 1,000 yards rushing, if I'm not mistaken, both years of his career. So part of the pendulum is partially swinging back for me, where it's like we are just burying, and I say we because I have been also. We are just burying this guy. If he makes it to the 5th, yeah, I don't know, man. I might have to sign up for that. But right now,
Really?
Yeah, to better answer your question, on one side I'm concerned, on the other side I got to see where this guy falls to.
He's going at 57 now, so that would be right at the end of the 5th. Right behind CEH and ahead of J.K. Dobbins. What the hell's wrong with you people?
Great about Dobbins. Well, maybe now with the Gus Edwards news.
I think if Dobbins misses any time, it's going to be like a week.
Who else they have besides Dobbins and Gus? Gus is going to miss
Mike Davis.
Oh, good call. I had forgotten about that signing completely. Onward and upward. Kyle Shanahan told reporters that running back Elijah Mitchell is on track to return week 1 versus Chicago.
Cha-ching.
Whether he'll start and play a full slate of carries and touches, I couldn't tell you. Where are we here? Beat writer, Jets, Michael Carter, still the RB1 for the Jets. Beat reporter.
Fluff.
Yeah, I told you there was a couple. Drake London, knee, still not practicing. This is Thursday. Still not practicing Thursday. Let's stick with some rookie wide receivers here. Traylon Burks misses practice on Thursday. More rookie receivers. The Lions are moving rookie wide receiver Jameis Williams to the reserve NFI list per source. This was always the plan for Williams, the first-round pick, who suffered a torn ACL in January's national championship game. The hope is he'll be ready to play around.
He's a long-term play. He's a dynasty for fantasy football, and he's a long-term play for real NFL football.
Oh, quick. I saved this. I didn't text or share it in any league chats. Speaking of the Lions and receivers, have you seen Amon-Ra St. Brown without his shirt on?
Careful there, Chris. Might want to turn a fan on. Right. Settle down there, buddy. Settle down.
I'm a fan, buddy. I'm a fan. Woo! No, dude, he is built like a Greek god. And may I remind you, his brother is an NFL player also. And do you know his dad was?
Is his dad an NFL player too?
Not a bad guess. I don't blame you for going that direction, but no. No, not at all.
Some sort of sportsman.
He was a former 2-time Mr. Olympia. Bodybuilding.
Close enough to a sportsman.
Hence why his sons are chiseled from stone. It was redonkulous, dude. I was like, oh my goodness.
Careful there, buddy. Just settle down.
Let's move on. A little bit more receiver stuff here. Michael Gallup is doing well. As it stands now, he won't.
No, that's good. Did he get a Christmas card from him or something?
No, he won't start on PUP. Meaning he can play within the first 4 games of the season. Again, that could still mean he's missing week 1, maybe week 2, but they don't see him missing week 4, for lack of a better way to put it, right?
He could still miss the first 4 weeks.
He's been running routes. Not with the team, but on the side.
So have I. That doesn't mean I'm any good.
Sir, you don't have time or energy to run your routes. That was a lie.
I'm running a bus route, all right? And by running, I mean sleeping through a bus route.
Anyway, Chargers wide receiver Josh Palmer is in the concussion protocol. More receiver stuff. The Giants have activated wide receiver Sterling Sharp off the PUP list. He's been recovering from a torn Achilles. Yes, that's how I say it. And is now ready to practice. Another receiver added to the mix.
Sterling Shepard?
Hmm?
I believe you said Sharp. It sounded like you said Sharp.
Did I
but
really?
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what. If the Giants had Sterling Sharp,
Sterling Shepard, to be clear.
to be clear,
right?
Sterling Shepard, wide receiver for the New York Giants.
I don't know who Sterling Sharp is, and nor am I going to look it up now.
He's Shannon Sharp's brother that used to play for the Packers.
In my face.
And was amazing.
All right, in my face. Okay, let's move along.
Rams to keep an eye on Stafford's arm all year. Moving
How
on.
concerned are you about this, Chris?
Stafford? Not at all right now. I think he's a veteran quarterback. I think you're going to give him the rest he needs. I mean, I guess I'd be interested who the backup might be just to play it safe, but I don't think they have anybody worthy. Maybe I'm wrong.
No one's worthy when it comes to Matt Stafford.
Amen. Baltimore tight end Isaiah likely to play significant snaps.
Yeah, he's a rookie tight end. I don't care.
He is, but I think they're going to run 2 tight end sets on the reg. And
guess who got him for free in Dynasty?
I was about to say,
this guy.
Take a stab in Dynasty. They are known for cultivating tight ends. Clearly.
Actually, I think I put it in like a $2 bid because I was like, well, I better pay something for it.
I mean, I'm not going to say you can insert any tight end into Baltimore's offense, especially, pre-Jackson, post-Jackson. You can make that argument. However, they have a long list of cultivating and even signing free agent tight ends and being really
Name him.
Well, they had Sterling Sharp for a while. He won a Super Bowl with them. What was that guy? I'm going to forget it.
Todd Heap.
Thank you. Nailed it, sir. Back in the day, Ozzie Newsome. He's their GM, I believe. I think technically he was a Browns tight end, but Browns became the Ravens, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Hayden Hurst.
Another good one. Yep.
Austin Hooper.
I always get those two confused. I think Hayden Hurst was correct. I don't think Hooper ever played for him.
Who did he play? Oh, did he start
Browns.
with the Falcons?
Falcons went to. I don't remember. I get those two confused.
Anyways, okay, let's move along here. This isn't working out the way I was hoping.
Washington activated tight end Logan Thomas from the active/physically unable to perform list, and the Commanders are moving Chase Young, a defensive player, to reserve PUP, meaning he will miss at least the first 4 games. And that's the news.
He tore his ACL last year.
Yep. There you go. That's the news, folks.
Did you talk about Devonta Smith reportedly eating more and bulking up this offseason? Or did you talk about how Darren Waller leaves clutch? I'm just reading this stuff off the side on Fantasy Pros.
Like, literally.
That's all I'm doing.
You want to talk about fluff? It sounds like Devontae's trying to fluff up. So that sounded like bad. Anyway.
I'm hoping you're talking about pillows when you say that.
I was talking about getting fluffy, getting fatter. Yeah, so we're just going to stop there. You want to go first?
Let's just stop. So we're on to the tips and trips segment where we're definitely not talking about
just the tip.
Anything. Oh, man.
Not just the tip. Tips and trips.
No, stop it. Just stop it. Just stop. My first tip and trick, we really should have went over this before we started, but we didn't, so here we go. Bear with us, folks. This is going to go downhill quick. My first one is to have a good team balance. Team balance should include players from a variety of teams. Bills Mafia looking at you. Don't just draft all your Bills players, but have players from multiple teams. That sounds really obvious, but if you have all players from one team and the team has a bad week, well, you're going to have a bad week. But also, the balance means a good balance between wide receivers and running backs. I prefer to lean kind of more towards running back on that. Think like a 6-to-5 running back to wide receiver ratio, maybe even more than that. And also, and here's where it really comes, is a good mix of safe and reliable players / boom bust players.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want all boom bust, because if they all bust in the same week, you're toast. But you also don't want all safe players, because then you're just going to you might be middle of the pack, and maybe you can ride that to a playoff, but you're probably not going to win any playoff games by just having a safe and reliable team. You want a nice mix. That way, your reliable players are going to help you if your boom bust players all bust on the same week, and you're still going to maybe edge out a victory. when the boom bust players boom, you're looking at like winning the week sort of score, like mega points. What do what else do you have to add to that, Chris? I just think it's a really good thing to have. Like, so when I'm talking about safe players, I'm talking about like a Keenan Allen, a Mike Evans, like a Dalvin Cook, like Dalvin Cook's pretty safe running back. He's going to get the majority of the team's touches. Same with like, I guess you can call Derrick Henry a reliable back. He's probably not going to put up. He's probably not going to be scoring, 20 plus points per game this year, just given his age and usage. But he's going to put up probably a solid stat line almost every week. This is versus and I called these guys the boom bust players. Your Mike Williams, this is your Antonio Gibson's, because Antonio Gibson was kind of boom bust last year. DK Metcalf.
Who was the first name again, sir? Real quick.
Mike Williams.
Williams, not Evans. Makes sense. Makes 100% sense.
So if you pair the Mikes together, Mike Evans and Mike Williams, you get safety, and you also get a real high. You get a real high ceiling too with Mike Williams there.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I have to add to that, I've got some long bullet points, but a couple of short ones too. I want to add this one short bullet point to it. My piece of advice, my tip / trick is I tend to lean a little more safe with my top wideout if it's a full PPR. I just think there's a real nice floor with volume or possession receivers such as Deontay, My Hands Aren't Stone Johnson, Tiggins, Devontae Adams is going to have a ton of targets for Vegas, and Mike Evans, the previously mentioned Mike Evans.
Stephon Diggs is pretty safe wide receiver one to have on your team.
Perfect. Volume, just he's going to get 150 plus targets easily.
Somewhere between 130 and 170, like somewhere in there. That's one. I know that averages out to 150, but still.
Deontay had 169 targets last year. Granted, his catch rate was pretty bad because of drops and his quarterback.
Quarterback. Yeah, that's
all I had to add to that. I could go again real quick with another salient point if you're all finished up.
We'll be the judge of how salient it really is. But go ahead.
Right at the end of the day. Let's go with wait on QB. I know this horse is dead.
That's my last one. So you start and I'll finish.
I know this horse is dead, but I wanted to kick it a couple more times.
And I'll be there to resurrect it and then kill it and eat it some more.
There you go. For some context, Aaron Rodgers has won 2 MVPs in a row, and you know where he finished each season fantasy-wise? 3rd and 6th.
I think he finished as a quarterback, Chris.
Well, as quarterback 3 and quarterback 6. And particularly last year, quarterback 6. Quarterback 3 is pretty worthy of, I suppose, a high pick if you want to do that. But, we don't want Aaron Rodgers. We want, kind of the next Aaron Rodgers or the next Ryan Tannehill. May I remind you, Ryan Tannehill finished 7th in 2020. Not so much last year, but hey, that's why you got to pivot.
How'd that work out for you last year, Chris?
Horribly. Joe Burrow burst on the scene last year. Stafford was a great value last year. Not sure what his ADP was, but I'm pretty sure it was darn near double digits. I think it was like 8th, 9th round. Also, you can find great value in later rounds from running quarterbacks. So remember, you don't want Herbert or Mahomes or Josh Allen. You want the next one. You want the next bargain or the next diamond in the rough.
Not Jalen Hurts, but like your Justin Fields. Because Jalen Hurts is going in like the 5th or 6th round. So that's not value.
Hurts last year, maybe. He kind of rose last year. I think it was last year. Was fine getting him late.
But even then, he was like a 7th round. Like he wasn't that late. But still, 7th is better than
Dak or Herbert or.
So here's what I have to say. We did. There's a reason why I had us do a QB early mock draft last week for this very point, Chris. Mm-hmm. Last week I had the 105. You took the 106. And I drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round. I took Patrick Mahomes with the 305. And so here's some guys I could have had instead of Patrick Mahomes. And I know some of them you're not in on, but just, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Cam Akers, Zeke, Tiggins, Terry McLaurin, or Darren Waller. Those are the picks to round out the rest of the 3rd round there. I mean, obviously you took Mike Evans right after
skill position players that were still on the board that you could have taken in lieu of quarterback.
I mean, come on, Mike Evans, Zeke, Tiggins. I mean, say what you want, think what you want about Leonard Fournette, but the guy's been solid pretty much ever since that Super Bowl run for Tampa Bay. Darren Waller, we talked about, being a little injured right now, so maybe not him in the third. But this was last week.
That's
and
relatively recent news. I mean, I understand he's been hurt, but we were thinking it was nothing. Now,
can you at least agree with Mike Evans, Lenny, Zeke, Tiggins, that sort of thing? Maybe Terry McLaurin. I have no idea why Cam Akers is going in the third round. I have none whatsoever. I think people are insane.
Yeah, I agree with almost all those names. Maybe not Akers, but I have some other.
Okay, so here's who you took. Chris, you took a quarterback in the fourth round because you're a jerk and didn't want to just take Herbert in the third round. But that's okay. It actually worked out okay.
Was I not on the turn?
No, you were right after me.
Oh, gotcha.
These are guys that you could have had later in the fourth round. And some of these guys I would have picked I would still be happy getting in the third round. You could have had Etienne, who I drafted right after you. Could have had Breece Hall, DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton. Here's some guys you might not be in on. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, J.K. Dobbins, Dalton Schultz. Now you like your Cowboys. Those are all guys that went after your pick in the fourth round. I mean, this is why you skip quarterback early. To have those guys.
Say what you will about Schultz, say what you will about Dallas, but tight end is hard. A good tight end is hard.
I love Dalton Schultz this year. I think it's great. I think
I'm warming up. I think I'm warming up, but I won't go there just yet. But no. Yeah,
I'd rather. So here's and I ended up going kind of a zero wide receiver direction in that draft just because of how it panned out and everything like that. I also took a tight end early in the second round. So my wide receivers were a little weak on paper. But I could have given up Patrick Mahomes to get Mike Evans. Every day of the week I'll do that. But then I could have turned around and gotten Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford in the 9th over Melvin Gordon. Or in the 10th, I could have taken Kirk Cousins over Kadarius Toney. I mean, I'll go 10th round instead of Kadarius Toney and having having a lineup of Mike Evans and Kirk Cousins, and I think I had Dalvin Cook and who was my second? Saquon Barkley. I would have had a pretty solid team right there, man. My wide receivers didn't end up I didn't hate them, but I was not. I was a little weak in the stomach when I look at them. I was like, yeah, there's potential, but I feel better if I would have, like that. Just things like that, and this obviously comes with the caveat. Comes with the caveat of this rule does not apply for super flex or 2 QB leagues. It's only for 1 QB leagues. Of
course.
There's one more caveat too, which we can lead into my next point. But go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to add. I'm not sure whom I have in front of whom, but I'm throwing Derek Carr right in there with Cousins. Those are probably the two most targeted guys that I'm looking at. I expect again a ton of volume in Vegas, and I think a Carr is a good quarterback and
lots of short passes.
Let's touch on something that's Hold
up. I got something to lead into.
Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done. Mm-hmm.
So with the QB thing, this kind of rolls into a giant umbrella bullet point that I have. If you have to kind of stay a little fluid. You have to be flexible in your draft because if teams if you're in one of those leagues where people are starting to draft a second quarterback, you should never draft a second quarterback in a 1 quarterback league. But if teams are doing that, you can't control what other people do. Then you need to start thinking about drafting a quarterback earlier than you are normally do. And that leads to my point of don't pigeonhole yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't walk into a draft with a hard and fast battle plan. Something like, I'm going to draft a running back in the first round. Hell or high water. I'm drafting running back first round. If in your first 6 picks, they're all running backs, draft Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp. There's nothing wrong with having one of the consensus top 2 wide receivers on your team over a running back in the first round. Hit running back hard later on in the draft. Sure. Or say you're at the end of the second round or at the end of the first round and all the wide receivers and running backs that you really thought you had a chance at getting are gone. Draft Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews. Having that positional advantage is huge in fantasy football. Huge. I just think that people need to open up to end of the first, maybe start thinking about tight end if you don't like what's sitting there,
Agreed.
I can't keep beating this drum enough. Like, it's just having that is so much better than saying, well, I guess I have to take, I don't know. Sorry. Give me 1 second here. I guess I have to take Javonte Williams here, or even worse, I guess maybe I have to take James Conner, like that's a little early, but still
in the neighborhood. Yeah.
I don't want Javonte Williams in the first. Sorry, I don't even want him in the second anymore. But I just
he loves Melvin Gordon, and he will never give it up.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
So
never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna get you high. Never gonna say goodbye.
So I'm going to phrase mine a little different. It's called Read the Room. But generally the same point. We've hit on this plenty the last couple of months, but I want to reiterate. For example, if your league mates take a quarterback early, like Josh was saying, and they all take 2 of them, it's time to grab one earlier than usual. If you see a huge one on wide receivers, even though it's an immensely deep position, go get your guy. Maybe you're on the turn. Maybe you want Chase. Maybe whoever it may be. And lastly, I'll say this, but it can also mean zigging when others zag. Again, like Josh said, stay fluid, read the room. If you wanted an early round tight end so you didn't have to play the tight end roulette game all year, like Josh said, but some Chiefs fan, looking at you, RWC, takes Kelsey 5th overall, then Andrews goes right after him, then another tight end, it might be time to punt on tight end and go grab those running backs or receivers or whatnot. Read the room. Hopefully you've been in the league a couple years. You've drafted with a couple of your buddies. You can kind of make some of these adjustments mid-draft. Again, just remain fluid. Read the room. Don't set it in stone. But yeah, wait on quarterback if you can.
That kind of leads to my next point of get your boy. If there's a guy out there that you really want on your team, but he's not at the top of the pre-populated draft list that whatever site you use is there. If you don't think he's going to make it back to you around to your next pick, grab him around early. You say you love Amon-Ra St. Brown, like Chris apparently does now, grab him now. Don't wait, and don't try to be like, oh, he'll be there in the next round, and then all of a sudden he's gone. Get your guy. Say you don't like Josh Jacobs, but you like Elijah Moore better, then get Elijah Moore. Don't feel like you need to take another guy because he's on that list higher than your guy. Say if you're in my example, say I am a Colts fan, and it's like the 10th round, and every mock draft I've done, Nyheim Hines is going in like the 12th. Well, we're in kind of crapshoot territory anyways, so I'm gonna get my guy. I want a Colts player on my team. Why not shoot for Hines? That sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying draft guys on the teams that you like, but what I am saying is if you are really into a specific player, get him. Do a little reach for him. Not a big reach, little reach. Mm-hmm. Maybe a round and a half. Some people may be like, why you drafted him here early? Because I want him on my team. Then tell him to piss off.
And hey, in the beginning of the draft, I'd say first couple rounds. I mean, if you're talking, you're 5 picks different than the consensus. You're 5 picks difference than
that's nothing.
Then top of the Gary, you reach a half a round.
Well, if you're 5 picks different than us, you're wrong. But still, just saying.
Of course. What do I have up next here? This is a little more, I guess you could say, specific. I like to have a beginning first 5 kind of round plan. Usually that means either 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers, or vice versa. This is, of course, keeping the caveat of stay fluid, read the room. But in other examples, throw tight end in there. So in no particular order after the first 5, maybe I want 1 tight end, 2 receivers, and 2 running backs. Kind of goes hand in hand with waiting on quarterback, to be honest. But also helps prevent from waiting too long at one of the key positions. But remember, nothing is set in stone as we go back to the previous points. But that's kind of how I feel about the first 5 rounds. I want to walk away with at least 2 running backs, if not 3. Depending on the format, PPR, full PPR, obviously tight end premium would change it. I would definitely want to walk away with a tight end within those first 5 picks. But generally, it's 3 running backs, 2 receivers, or vice versa.
Yeah. I guess to my point, my advice would be, and this is my personal philosophy, is that instead of doing that, I do more of a. So especially if I'm at the middle of the first round, I have usually 3 to 4 guys in mind that I want to draft, and usually one of them's following to me. If not, then at the second that one gets drafted, I go looking for another person to add to that list. Second round, same thing. I have 3 or 5 guys. The second I draft, I start scrolling down that pre-draft list, and I look at the guys that may be available to me in the second round. I get 3 or 4 names in my brain, and that way, if something happens where I don't have one guy in mind because I've sat there and been like, Chris isn't going to draft, Saquon Barkley. There's no way. He thinks he's injury prone. And then all of a sudden he does. And I'm just like, I have to sit there and stare at him for 20 seconds because I'm wishing death upon him. But, I'm using that 20 seconds where I could be like sitting there, like, clamoring for a new guy in mind. Well, I already have another guy in mind. My guy's already in my brain. Well, I'm looking at ADP right now. I'm like Saquon's gone. Well, then I'm moving on to James Conner, I guess, or a wide receiver. I'm moving on to Mike Evans. Like that's fine. I'm like, he's gone, man. I really wanted him. No big deal. On to Plan B. On to Plan C. Whatever. Like that's just something I do. I don't keep one guy in mind at all times. I constantly have a mini list of guys going through my head as the draft goes along. Don't get caught up too much in like the smack talk in the draft room or whatever. Be focused on your team. I've certainly got let people get in my head before. So stay focused. Don't get the jitters too much. It's only a game. If you're investing $500 into a league, make sure you can afford that $500. Don't be putting money in that you can't afford. Yeah, that's a lot of different points, but they kind of just flew together. What else you got here, Chris? Because I have a couple more, and that's about it. And then we can do a mock draft that you have no idea what kind of mock draft we're doing.
I have about 4, 2 of which are real quick bullet points. One of which is probably not even worth
fire saying. Away. Put them bullets in your gun and go ahead and start shooting.
It plays right into the Be Fluid, read the room. Don't be a slave to rankings or ADP. Moving on. In a land of running back by committee, I like to focus on premium carries. So red zone and red zone extended, like within the 15 or the 20, etc. And also pass catching backs, receptions, and targets. I think I have something to say about that in the next point. I feel like even in a world of running back by committee, there are more bell cow / feature backs in the early rounds than previous years. The likes of Zeke, Akers, and a little iffy on that, Monty, David Montgomery, James Conner, Josh Jacobs can be found after the second round. That's worthy mentioning. Not the sexiest names in the world, but allegedly, technically, bell cows or what have you. Yeah, inevitably someone will get hurt or disappoint, but generally there are a lot of guys. But that doesn't mean wait too long. I generally like to walk away with 2 running backs in the first 4 rounds. But going back to earlier point, read the room. And you said you have a couple more, so why don't you do that? And then I have one more after you're done.
My last one. Sorry, is don't specifically draft a guy with the idea of trading him. It rarely ever works out. If that guy's a quarterback and it's a 1 quarterback league, it never works out.
Good point.
Don't do that. If you don't want a guy on your team and you think that, it's like, and don't fall for this draft day talk of, if you draft this guy, I'll trade him to you. I'll trade whatever player you want for that guy. I really just want him. Like, don't fall for that, because that person can easily turn around and just be like, nah, I'm okay. I decided to go in a different direction. I'm used to drafting with a bunch of hooligans, so don't fall for their stuff. I'm hope that the rest of you draft a lot more honorable people than I have played with in the past. I've been one of those people too, Chris. But yeah, don't do that. Like, just get your boy and move along. Don't be like, well, I'm gonna. And actually leads to kind of my next point, my last point. Sorry, I said that was my last one.
Fine.
But also, don't. And this kind of falls into the pigeonhole yourself umbrella. Or don't do that, I guess. is that don't fill out your starting roster in your draft. Don't be like, well, it's the 7th round and I have 3 running backs and 3 wide receivers, and I need to draft either a quarterback or tight end, and then after that I'm moving on to kicker and defense. Don't worry about your starting roster.
Amen.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen guys do that, and I've seen guys do it successfully. But the problem is
natural if you're new to it. It feels kind of natural to do it that way. Yeah.
The problem with that is that one of your guys gets injured and you don't have a lot of depth at quarterback or at running back or wide receiver. Like it can really hurt you if you draft that way. Make sure you have depth, because running backs are often injured and wide receivers sometimes just don't pan out for various different reasons.
I was just gonna say, I couldn't agree more. You can never have enough running backs. You can never have enough.
Having said that, Friends with Benefits will only have a maximum of 4 running backs per squad this year.
Seriously?
No.
All right. Where was I? I got all those out of the way. I'm on my last one here. This is running back specific. I didn't put that in the first sentence. Some running back handcuffs are necessary, but try and focus on the ones that have some standalone value, a la Tony Pollard, A.J. Dillon, Walker in Seattle, if it's healthy. Gordon in Denver, Carter/Hall, New York Jets, Robinson/Etienne for the Jaguars. Probably don't want to play the New England running back game, though. I am a huge Ramondre fan, but taking the cheaper guys probably makes more sense in this situation, which I believe is Harris is the cheaper guy at this point. But those are the names I wanted to name off. That's the advice I want to name off to round things out. Is
what was that again?
Some handcuffs are necessary. You got to get them. You spoke about reaching a tad. Don't reach far, but sometimes you got to reach for a Tony Pollard or an A.J. Dillon. Dillon might be out of the cards because I feel like Dillon's going pretty darn high.
He's going high enough that he's not even a handcuff anymore. He's going, oh my God, he's the RB23 off the board.
Wow.
I'm switching over to calculator here because that can't be right.
There's a lot of hype around him, I'm buying a lot of the hype. But again, some handcuffs you got to have. I believe Chester. Is it Chester?
Taylor?
No.
Copper Pot?
The guy in Minnesota backing up Dalvin Cook. He's still there, right? Can't remember.
Alexander Madison?
Madison, thank you. Yeah, Chester was from 20 years ago. There was the guy that played for the Vikings.
Something like that. I said Chester Taylor.
Oh, is that him? Yeah, it was Taylor, I believe. That's
another good example. You didn't get my Goonies reference either.
No, I didn't. Sorry. Alexander Madison. Add that to the list. But again, some of these handcuffs, you gotta have them if you've got the number one guy on that team. But there's only a short list of them. And if you could please, if you be smart and focus on the ones that have some standalone value, so you're not sitting there wasting a pick.
That's better. What was I looking at again? Oh, yeah. A.J. Dillon, 503. Just above CEH. Wow. And here's the stupid thing. Cam Akers still 307. What?
I'm probably okay with AJ if I'm a non-Aaron Jones owner, manager, and I'm probably okay with AJ Dillon as my third running back.
Man.
Yeah, I think I am.
Seems a little too steep for me.
Who's gonna catch the ball? Romeo Dubs.
I hate this. I hate this narrative of who's going to catch the ball. Well, it's got to be the running backs.
I'm not claiming the running backs are going to have 150 targets apiece, but you have to agree with the point that there's targets to be had. If you don't, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Who's the top 3 receiving back? Not A.J. Dillon. Who's the top 3 receiving back in the league? It's Aaron Jones. He arguably the best. CMC. I mean, CMC's coming back healthy. I'd put him at 1.
Kareem Hunt.
Eckler or Kamara at 2.
No,
screw Kareem Hunt. No, he's not going to get enough targets to be in
You
that
said receiving
ballpark.
back. You didn't say based on
receiving
targets.
back who will have more fantasy impact. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
He's great at catching the ball. You're right. He is great at catching the ball, but not in the ballpark.
You put it like that. I mean,
I'm talking about Eckler, CMC, Kamara, Aaron Jones.
Yep, he's already out of the top 3 though. So you said top 3.
I put him at 3, hence why I said top 3.
But you just listed them
in no particular order. I think he's better. Hey, CMC, we'll see. But I put him at 1. Did I put Kamara at 2? I think I did previously, a couple days ago.
Dalvin Cook's really good.
Yeah, but he's no Aaron Jones or CMC or Alvin Kamara.
Josh Jacobs.
Again, right there. But, I mean,
Cordero Patterson. Leonard Fournette.
Yep, nope.
I'm just listing receiving backs off the top of my head now. With the obvious caveat of Josh Jacobs, because that guy is...
I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying none of those guys are in the same tier as the Ecklers and the CMCs and the Aaron Jones.
I'm really worried about that Raiders offensive line. I am extremely worried about it.
How about the Cowboys offensive line? How about the Jets offensive line? There's no guarantee Dwayne Brown's going to be a freaking Pro Bowler again at his age.
It's only
Seattle,
on tackle, though.
I mean, Seattle, a lot of bad offensive lines out there. New York has looked, Giants, let me be clear. Giants have looked a little better. I mean, it's preseason, but Jones looked really good. He did throw a pick, but anyway, offensive line.
That's just a foreign conclusion. That's going to happen.
I mean, it hit the guy in the hands. It wasn't the best thrown ball. You got a better ball. But anyway,
we're just we're going off the rails here.
Oh, can we BRB real quick? Let's finish up the podcast proper.
I'm assuming you're going to clean up that ending a little bit, and we'll just we'll go with everyone listening. You in podcast format, you can check out the stream 8 p.m. every Thursday. I don't know why we settled on Thursday, but we did, so we're going to miss some Thursday night football here and there. But we will continue into the regular season. And Chris, what can they do to help us out here?
They can like, share, and subscribe to let us know that we're doing a good job, or hey, let us know we're doing a bad job. We like constructive criticism, and we're always here for that. And loud thuds.
Give me more reasons to hate myself, please. And Chris, where can they follow you at on the socials?
They can follow me at AFFB Chris. Hey, I remembered.
And I am at Josh AFFB. And I remembered as well. And until next time, y'all have a good night. Good luck in your drafts.
Folks watching the stream at home, we'll be right back.
BRB.
Welcome back, everybody. Josh will be another couple minutes. No rush, Joshua. Let me get us set up here with our little draft. See if my computer remembers which display is display 1. That is not display 1.
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2.
So we'll do this. Folks, every single time I swear I have to... It's the drawback of having multiple.
Being a privileged white person.
Yeah, right? Life is tough. What can I say? Now we're rolling. Two of us and a mock draft. Just like I drew it up, Josh.
I think this is the right one.
I hope so. It was the last one. And I have not stopped the recording.
No.
It's my edit anyway.
So, Chris, do you know what kind of draft we're going to do this time?
I do.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Third round reversal.
Oh, yeah, I named it that, didn't I?
You also told me in a text message. I think.
No, I didn't.
Oh, then I'm psychic. The only logical explanation.
So we're back on stream, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good thing I wasn't picking my butt. So for those of you who are not familiar, third round reversal means that at the end of the second round, you get to what is it? So if you're the 101,
it doesn't snake.
So if you're the 101, you're the 212, but then you're the 301 again. Or the
other way around, right?
Yeah.
Why can't I scroll? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, if you're the 112, you're the 201 and the 301. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah, because it snakes around at the end of the first, it snakes around to the 212 and then goes down.
Yes.
312.
Yes.
It doesn't snake. Anyway, so we claim one spot.
I'm going to go with 10 because I'm going to kind of see how this works out at the back end.
I want to go with the first turn, as it were. Well, I know why this is so big because it remembers. A 101. And that I'm sure I've done it once.
Come on.
Trying to scroll over there. I will claim the 101. Hardware Dynasty.
All right, you ready?
I'm the first pick. I'm ready. There's no Titan Premium or anything like that or Superflex, right? It's standard half point, I guess.
Sure.
Okay.
In 5, it is half point. In 5, 4, ready, steady, go. That's you. Who are you gonna do? You're gonna take JT?
Apparently, I'm gonna fumble around with how to do that. Oh, there we go. That'll do it.
And so you take JT with the first, and then it's CMC, followed by Austin Eckler. Running up the after that is Dalvin Cook. Derrick Henry, first wide receiver off the board with the 106. It's Cooper Kupp, followed by Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Pittsburgh Steelers running back. Then it's Justin Jefferson and the wide receiver 2. At the 109 is Jamar Chase for the wide receiver from Cincinnati. Then it's me at the 110, which I will be taking gladly, Joe Mixon.
I was thinking that, yeah. Anyway.
And I'm going to go away from my tight end in the second round strategy just to try something different. And I went Mixon. This is a half PPR. I don't hate Kamara like I hate Deshaun Watson, so I'm going to take Alvin Kamara, followed by CeeDee Lamb, then Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb going at the 206. Josh Allen, the first quarterback off the board in the mid-second, followed by Aaron Jones. Tyreek Hill going to team 4, followed by Javonte Williams, Deebo Samuel. By the way, this is a
now I'm going to
get lot
2
of
picks
bots.
in a row, right?
No.
Okay.
You're gonna get a pick 12
No,
picks
I would
later.
normally get it. Okay.
Yes.
Now we said it right.
Third round reversal.
No, we're good. I had a brain fart. So I'm gonna have to wait. Clearly, a lot.
Only 12 picks though.
That's fair. Not like the traditional term where you got to wait practically 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Kind of feel like sewing up running back here, but I have to wait. So I go get my safe guy and Mike Evans. No, I'm just going to go running back again. Just because it's a mock.
Let me guess. Do it. I figured as much. I figured you'd take Zeke. And then the third round reversal takes effect, and then Team 12 gets the Keenan Allen. So he has no running backs at this moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All pass catchers. Mark Andrews is still sitting there in the third, Chris.
And you have to take him.
Still
there.
To.
What about Schultz or Pitts if you have some faith in Atlanta?
I don't have faith in Atlanta.
For mock's sake?
For mock's sake, I will ignore it. Every fiber of my being wants to do it. Like you cannot. I have to. I'm literally two-handing this Mike Evans pick.
I love that pick. I don't even think there's much. Okay, well, there goes Andrews 2 picks after.
Yeah.
2 quarterbacks off the board, and Allen and Herbert.
3.
I'm sorry, 3 now. Mahomes just went right before I pick at the turn at the 3-12 and the 4-1. I have got 2 running backs. Surely I got to go receiver. Yes, I called you Shirley.
And you don't have to, and don't call me Shirley.
To get my dependable guy, who Josh hates.
Sure do. You can draft another guy I don't like in Kyle Pitts.
That's right, I'm on the turn. My bad. Let's get a glance at running back real quick.
It's not pretty. Not right now.
But I do have 2 of them. Let's take a glance at tight ends.
Also,
I still feel like waiting.
Great. I'm going to wait till the bitter end, I think. We'll see. We'll see what happens in round 4. I think Dalton Schultz is the last tight end that I'm really comfortable taking. What's that?
These receivers aren't that great either.
No. This is kind of the like no man's land of.
I'm just gonna hit running
of
back
a lot
again.
of drafts.
Yeah, it is absolutely. I think that's what.
That was one thing I didn't say in the thing is that like if you're sitting there and you're really befuddled with who to pick and the clock's running out, just take the highest pre-ranked running back. You know, you can never have enough. It doesn't matter if it's a Ezekiel Elliott or a Jonathan Taylor.
Go Jacobs over Etienne.
Ew.
It was close.
Oh God. I like to reiterate my point. I am extremely worried about that Raiders offensive line. I went safe with my first wide receiver. I'm gonna wait before I take my guy here. I'm gonna look at running back real quick, just to kind of take a peek. It's pretty ugly in the sense that there's one running back in the pre-populated list that I can see without scrolling down. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go with my guy. Elijah Mitchell's like the next best one up, and I can kind of
fair. Yep. I was looking at that.
I'm pretty confident with my running backs right now, so I'm gonna go wide receiver here, and that's DK Metcalf.
And
I think
went a handful of picks after me. Continue talking. My bad.
I think that DK is good enough to help his less than desirable situation.
You think he's going to get enough volume?
Oh, Dobbins is here still. Interesting.
True.
That's really interesting. I'm going to try something here because it's a mock draft. Sorry, is Cortland Sutton gone? Oh, he's right there. He's right above Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try one of these Denver Broncos wide receivers on for size. I'm going to see how I feel about my team afterwards. I have yet to mock a Broncos wide receiver, and so I want to kind of I want to try it. I want to go in the changing room and kind of see how it looks in the mirror. See how I feel about it after the draft's over.
I'm probably going to hit wide receiver twice here. Oh, I was going to say about Sutton. I think he's the one you want from Denver. But what do I know?
I honestly don't know.
Right. I think I'm going to hit wide receiver twice probably on the turn here.
Honestly, I'm going to disagree with you. And I'm just going to say Judy because he's cheaper.
Yeah, but there's not that much.
That's the only reason.
They're like they're like a couple picks apart.
I know, but I just when in doubt, go the cheap route.
I'm going to go what I consider probably two more safer picks at receiver, which is a little contradictory to kind of what we talked about in the tips, but I think I like the upside and the volume that all three of my guys are going to get. Let me finish.
Oh, no.
Let's go Cooks, and then let's go the guy without his shirt on. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You mother clucker.
You knew I was going to take him. You knew I was going to take him after all that. In the 6th round, may I remind you, Cooks in the 5th.
And Schultz went in the 6th. Okay, so he's gone.
Yep.
So I'm ignoring tight end for the foreseeable future. Dallas Goedert's still there. I'm going to see if he makes it back around to me
on your turn here. Your almost turn. You know what I mean?
My quick turnaround. Let's put it that way.
So you're going to go running back then, I assume.
I'm looking at him right now.
DH.
I'm not in love. Oh no. You can't pay me enough to draft
Harris. Is that
CH?
Does that mean
I'm probably going Harris.
Stevenson is still okay. Stevenson is lower. Huh. Yeah, sure he is. He should be lower.
I'm going safer. I'm going Kareem Hunt. Going safer. And Dallas Goedert's still there. I said Schultz was my last guy. It's actually probably Goddard. I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep on waiting. And I'm going to probably hit Damian Harris again.
Okay. 4 RBs to my 3.
I have 4 running backs so far. Oh, and a wide receiver and 3 wide receivers. You are well balanced at 3 and 3 with running backs and wide receivers. You could go kind of any direction. Dak is sitting there. Your boy Russell Wilson is sitting there. Your boy Tony Pollard's sitting there. You were talking about handcuffing, which I do not agree with, but
that's a good point.
You were talking about handcuffing.
I get 2 picks too, so there's that. 83.
I
love how they give you the 83.2 ADP. Make you do the math while you're trying to run a show in a mock, whatever. To your point, I think I am going to grab Pollard with one of these picks. Do I want to continue to be balanced? Or...
Oh, Zach Ertz is still there at tight end, too.
Throw a little caution in the wind. I'm going to go Pollard. From Andre. Oh, screw you.
What?
The little troll voice on the app did his thing. I'm pretty sure I left desktop sounds open to the stream this time so they can hear it.
I didn't hear it.
I know, because you turned everything off and listened to yourself.
No, I can't hear myself. And I haven't been playing music this week either. Usually I have a little bit of background music going just to kind of...
I'm playing the stream music. Being able
so
to...
I'm up on running back and down on wide receiver. There's a guy I'm sitting here looking at that I kind of can't ignore. And for some reason, his stupid teammate's going above him. I'm going to go Robert Woods here. I'm going to get my boy.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yep. I hate him, but go ahead. You do you.
Why do you hate Robert Woods?
I don't like that offense for pass catchers.
I'd say the same thing about the Raiders. So
Traylon Burks is dinged up. Didn't we read that in the news? So hey,
yeah. Let's see here.
One. Not Neo, but
Screw you, Melvin Gordon. I'm ending up with you way too much on my team. On a lot of mock drafts.
That's the spirit.
Pivoting.
Oh, I know exactly.
You just hate him because he's the real wife or real father of your firstborn. I'm going Damian Pierce here.
I knew it.
a rise. Like this guy's star is skyrocketing. I mean, just like he was like I think even a week ago he was going in like the 12th, and but a week before that he was like barely getting drafted. Like
here's a salient talking point. I already took one handcuff. I'm not taking two. I'm not taking Harris.
Oh God,
that's ill-advised,
Harris.
folks. Yeah,
Harris.
I'm sorry, did I read it wrong? Oh, maybe I read Darrell Henderson as Damian Harris. Yeah, my bad.
I drafted Damian Harris.
Good point. Oh man, what do we want to do then? I took a glance at tight end and run quarterback, and I think I'm going to wait, probably to my detriment, but I'm going to do it anyway. So clearly, I'm looking at receivers and running backs. Buddy, I want. Still got about a minute. I'm struggling with running back. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm just going to go up.
It's pretty ugly.
I'm just going to go upside. I have 5 to be clear. Ooh, that's a good point, Chris.
Yeah, I might want to maybe switch to wide receiver. I mean, it's
Well,
your mock draft. You can do whatever the hell you want,
I
but
get 2 picks also.
Outside of the first wide receiver you chose, which is a personal preference, you have 2 other good ones.
Yeah. You know what? I'm struggling that much. I'm going to come full circle back to quarterback and tight end. A guy at quarterback. And what do I feel better about here? Receiver or running back?
Okay.
I could go all upside with this.
That was one hell of a bold pick there.
I didn't even get the troll laugh at me.
Matthew Stafford's still sitting there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I just thought maybe you were like scrolled down and you didn't
He was
realize
the next ranked guy, and I like him. But to be fair, I do have Stafford ahead of him, but maybe the questionable status scared me a little. Never have too many running backs. Unless I continue to take them, then I would definitely have too many running backs.
A guy that's ending up on a lot of my teams, Chris, and here it comes. Here it comes. Brace yourself.
Gordon?
You're never going to see it coming.
I almost took him over Robinson.
And my Naeem Hines is gone. Mother.
Pickens was also on the board for me. I was strongly considering that. Of which
you know what?
Goes at the end of that round.
You don't have a tight end. I don't have a tight end. Team 11 has 2. So does Team 8. These stupid computer things.
I agree. Well, yeah,
I already have Cortland Sutton. Otherwise, I would take Alberto, which I think is a pure shot in the dark. But I'm going to go.
Most of these guys are shots in the dark.
I'm going to go Kirk Cousins.
Still no tight end for you?
No. I already have one Denver pass catcher. I don't need 2. Ooh.
Looking at receiver and tight end very hard here because I get 2 picks. And I'm a little short on receiver with only 3.
You only have 3?
Yep.
Wow.
I expect a better year out of McCorkle Jones. I'm going to take Hunter Henry, tight end. England.
Bastard.
And then I'm going to turn right back around and take. I don't like Jones or Gage all that much. I mean, I guess somebody's got to catch the ball in Tampa. Not going Homer. Get down to basically 2 guys.
I mean, we're in the 12th round, man. You kind of just take your guy at that point.
I took Dubs.
Okay.
He's my guy.
Not a believer.
You don't believe in very much, Josh.
I believe in magic, Chris.
Don't, otherwise you wouldn't have taken Marquez Valdez-Scantling. If there's one thing he's shown, it's that he's not a magic user. I don't know where I'm going with this, Josh. Help me.
I believe in a young girl's heart.
That's a lyric from a song, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at there. Wow, these tight ends are absolutely disgusting. So guess what I'm doing with the last pick of my draft? I'm going
Isn't
to
Tunyon
go.
still on the board? Crazy.
Like I said, absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I hate Irv Smith. I hate Njoku.
I love Njoku.
Higby could be all right. Don't like Fant in Seattle. I love Tunyon.
I'm going with my diamond in the rough here. Why not? Taking shots here. We're just shooting blind.
He was my other option over, or in the same neighborhood as Dubs. I just didn't like the other receivers ranked above those two, meaning Rondale Moore and Romeo Dubs. Dubs.
Whatever it is, I don't care.
Don't care.
I know who you're talking about.
He's a person too, Josh.
Is he though? Are you sure he's not made up,
6
Chris?
running backs, 4 receivers, a tight end, and a quarterback. Oh, I guess I get one more freebie before I take defense and kicker, as they call it. Ooh, I kind of like that freebie. God, I so saw a different name there. Yeah, probably should go receiver, given my whatever. Dude, I don't even know. I don't even know if I should do this. Oh, there he is. Yeah, easily. What?
Oh, no. You son of a
Kenny
bitch.
Galladay is still there, Josh. Kenny Galladay is still there. That's what
Rightfully
I was
so. He can stay there.
him and hawing about.
Don't you put him on your team. Don't you give Kenny Galladay the satisfaction.
It's amazing he's still there.
Rightfully so.
Let me.
Is it possible that we're all just gonna miss out and Kenny Galladay is like gonna be the bee's knees this year? It's possible.
Possible. I mean, he's the
I don't
one.
know.
Is he the one? Is Tony?
Is he though?
Now Shepard's back. It's a mess, man. And I just don't think the guy.
I think he got his payday and could give a rat's ass less.
Yep. And I think the reason he had the one statistical, let's call it good year was because of Matthew Stafford. Almost strictly because of Matthew Stafford. Ironically, I took
Take your pick.
Carr over Stafford. I'm having trouble here, man. I got a defense and stuff.
You don't have to take a defense.
Did the Packers? That's like a Boston thing. Why did I say it that way? I'm so weird.
I have no idea. I do not know.
I think I wasn't a Midwesterner or something.
Because I don't have to take a kicker in a defense. I will take a kicker, though. I will. Tyler Bass.
What'd you call me?
Said Tyler Bass. And then I'm going to take my tight end, which I think is still
God,
there.
let me look at this.
You want to make a guess?
Well, it's definitely not Tunyon.
Is he even still there?
Yeah, he is.
Sorry, I'm
Also
not wearing my
questionable.
glasses.
That's worth mentioning. You're gonna take Njoku because
Yeah,
Irv
I am.
Smith is hurt.
Of course, yeah. Of course I am.
All right, are you playing in a get points for blocking league? Good luck with that. He'll be dropped in after week 1.
He was the last pick of my draft. Why do I care?
I am gonna take the kicker I really want. You guys don't have a team. Oh my gosh, I don't like any of these guys. Whatever.
You should take John Parker Romo.
Just take Lutz. I mean, Lutz is a good kicker. He's just on a probably bad offensive.
All right, Chris, tell us what your team is, and I will. I hope you love your team because
I think I do.
Feelings.
Let me recap.
I have feelings.
About yours or mine?
Yours.
Both. Really? You hate it?
Go ahead.
Be clear, folks. He's going to hate everybody besides his own team.
That's not true.
May I remind folks, this was a 3rd round reversal. I could have had the likes of Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Tiggins above Deontay. But Deontay was there. So I went Jonathan Taylor at the 101, Zeke, Deontay Johnson, Josh Jacobs, Brandon Cooks, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the best-looking shirtless guy in the league, Tony Pollard to handcuff and hopefully get some standalone value behind Zeke. Ramondre Stevenson, a darling of mine. David Carr, a little bit of a reach in front of Stafford, but I feel good about the Raiders' offense this year. James Robinson, I believe a guy that's going to get work in Jacksonville, whether he's the 1 or the 2. I guess you could say late round tight end and Hunter Henry. I believe McCorkle's going to get uncorked in a little bit. Couple of high upside receivers here that were a bargain, I feel like, with Robio Dubs in the 12th and DJ Shark, a favorite of the show, in the beginning of the 13th. Whatever. And then, my defense and kick it around things out. Packers and Lutz. Josh, how about you?
Would you like me to comment on your team first or talk about mine?
Get that out of the way. Go comment on my team, please.
I'm not going to talk about Deontay Johnson. You like him, and that's fine. That's fine. We're not going to talk about that. It's a personal opinion, a preference. I would not have gone Deontay Johnson there, but that's fine. You did it. You like him. You got your guy. My problem is Tony Pollard. I'm not sure. For the longest
time, waited around, or you just wouldn't have taken him at all.
So here's my thought here. Just hear me out. For the longest time, I've always heard that you're not supposed to handcuff. This year, you're saying handcuff. And here's where my problem lies. If Josh Jacobs gets hurt, what if Byron? What is his name? Something Stevens. Blank Stevens.
Ramondre.
Yes, thank you. What if he's not what if he's just a rotational Bill Belichick back and you can't rely on him every week? So now, and James Robinson's coming off of an Achilles tear, which is historically not good for running backs. So what if all this leads to now you're back to whatever year that was where you were starting both Miami backs and Zeke and
oh my
Tony
God, dude,
Pollard.
That's like 10 fucking years ago. Jesus.
But just like, so what if all that happens, man? Like, I like your Ramondre Stevenson one, but here's the counter argument to me is that the running backs after that are these are the running backs after that, other than Ramondre Stevenson, who you drafted back to Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, right. Rashad Penny. How do you feel about either one of those?
I feel pretty bad about Penny.
In hindsight.
I could have considered Singletary, but not Penny.
Okay. After that is James Cook. James Cook, or any buyer's remorse with Tony Pollard versus James Cook?
No, not at all.
There you go. Good boy. Sorry, you're not my dog. Damian Pierce.
You have a girl dog too. That's funny. Anyway, let's not get.
Yeah, I got a bitch. Damian Pierce or Tony Pollard? Would you have rather had Damian Pierce or Tony Pollard?
And Pierce went after Pollard, is your argument?
Mm-hmm.
Well after.
Mm-hmm. Almost an entire.
There's a lot of fluff on Pierce lately. I'm buying in. In fact, Pierce and Stevenson are kind of in that same ballpark for me. True. But to your point, the Zeke pick pushed me to reach for Pollard a tad. Again, I'm on the turn. I'd have had to wait, past Singletary and Penny and all that, right? Yeah. So
why do you? I don't know. I guess. Can you re-explain your reasoning for handcuffing, just for the sake
there
of
is a handful
because you originally talked about it, like close to an hour ago by now.
Of course, yeah. Let's refresh folks' memory if anybody's still listening. There's a handful of backs, whether they be called the RB2 on their own team or the 1B, whatever the heck you want to classify them as, that I absolutely believe have standalone value. So if you have the first guy, in this situation, Zeke, it would behoove you, especially if it's like a Zeke that, hey, people are worried about his health, people are worried about his age, people are worried about him falling off a cliff. I believe he had some injury issues last year. I think he's going to be fine. However, Pollard had standalone value last year, and I think that's only going to go up. On the flip side of that, Zeke's usage would naturally go down, right? I mean, unless they're that much more efficient, which I'm not banking on. But Zeke is the volume play. Pollard Pollard's an RB1 if Zeke gets hurt, if not a top 5 running back. However, he also has standalone value, especially when you consider how many targets are not going to be there are going to be up for grabs at the beginning of the year with probably no Gallup, and obviously James Washington went down. They haven't replaced, they really didn't do much at receiver besides a rookie. after losing Amari. So I think they're going to.
James Washington, anyone?
That's what I'm saying. He's hurt. He's hurt. So
Yeah,
I think Pollard. I'm not saying Pollard's starting at wide receiver 2 for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just saying he's got standalone value. Absolutely, both running. Perhaps if your league gets credit for special teams, and clearly in the receiving game.
I think he just made an argument to never draft Zeke. That's the way it sounds to me. I don't know, man. Let's agree to disagree on that. Let's put that.
And I think if Stevenson, Ramondre with an H, gets, if anything happens to Harris,
Ramondre,
right? I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
Ramondre.
I kind of like that. I'll admit with Ramondre, I'm falling in love. Not on the Amon-Ra St. Brown type of love, but
one we're gonna need to,
I've been singing Stevenson's song for like a year and a half, dude. I wish I had him in Dynasty, but I don't.
It's only his second year.
I almost had him in Dynasty with a deal. I kind of had it worked out, but
yeah, it's only his second year.
Well, year and a half, halfway through his first year. If you don't recall, he played pretty darn well last year in his opportunity, especially towards the middle or end, which is why I said year.
But it hasn't been a year and a half from that point. It's been less than a year.
Oh, this is his second year?
Yeah.
Okay, so a year. Josh, math is hard at this time of night after 2 drinks. Yeah, that's my Pollard and Stevenson.
Okay. So here we're gonna really just shake hands and walk away from that one.
Okay.
I could argue with you. I could argue with you till we're blue in the face, and neither one of us are gonna.
Real quick before you
end
go
up
over your
convincing
team,
each other.
I know we should just shake hands and watch, but let's let you hammer that home a little bit more. Do you not believe in handcuffs at all? Because that's the way it sounds.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Because you can pick up handcuffs after the second week, if you really want them on your team.
No, you can't pick up Pollard. You can't pick up Madison.
Then I don't want them. I'd rather have wide receivers. I'd rather have.
You don't want a free RB1. I say free. You don't want a late round RB1.
That comes with a stipulation in the middle round. If it was in the 12th round,
it comes with a stipulation of injury, which happens all the time at the RB position.
Exactly.
Which happens all the time at the running back position.
And so if it doesn't,
you hate Derrick Henry because of injury.
Okay, I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm absolutely done with this. This is why I wanted to shake hands and walk away.
Fine.
All right.
Go over your team.
Okay, Joe Mixon was my first pick. I got Alvin Kamara with the second. We did that 3rd round reversal, which was still weird with Mike Evans. I took them, and then in the 4th, I did DK Metcalf. By the way, I had to really force my hand to not take Mark Andrews there in the 3rd, and then so I took Mike Evans instead. Back to the 5th round where I took Cortland Sutton, and then I went safer at running back with Kareem Hunt, and then I did Damian Harris once again. Went a little bit safer. I guess I could have had Damian Harris or that. First, we might have to revisit that one.
The Damian Harris one?
The Kareem Hunt, Damian Harris thing. I'm going to keep going through my team, though.
Continue.
Robert Woods was my wide receiver 4. Chris, you didn't like him, and I guess I can kind of see why, coming off the ACL, but still. Damian Pierce I took as my running back 5 in the 9th round. And at this point, this is kind of where I decided to just say, screw tight end, because my next best available was...
who was it? Goddard had gone off, if I recall? Maybe?
Yeah, it was right around there that I was like, man, I'm done. I thought about Zach Ertz, in the 8th, but yeah, anyways. Sorry. So, I was at MVS in the 10th, which is a wide receiver I'm very high on. But it's more of a shot in the dark sort of thing, you know. It's almost free. It's a dart throw. What if it does hit? You know, Juju's injured right now, I believe.
That sounds familiar.
Mecole Hardman is probably the guy that if he does
is showing us everything he's ever going to show us.
I think so too. But
maybe he breaks out on special teams. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably where it's going to be. Anyways, Kirk Cousins, I took in the 11th because I was just like, why not? Why not take my quarterback that I like for week 1, and I'll worry about quarterback in week 2 and week 2. I took Rondale Moore, who is, if you remember, it was in our wide receiver Diamonds in the Rough. He's a very small guy, but Chris does like him. I took Michael Gallup as my wide receiver 7 in the 13th round. And at that point, I was just kind of like,
good Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at that point too, I was like, I don't need Michael Gallup in the first few weeks. So even if he's not right, despite him missing the pup, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Despite him missing the pup, he's probably not going to be right for the first few weeks anyways, even if he does play. Yep. So I don't need him out there. But come later in the season, come bye weeks, I bet Gallup could be up to speed, assuming he doesn't do the prototypical sprain your ankle thing that happens after ACLs. Hope not. But anyway, it's Tyler Bass is my kicker. And then I took my tight end with the very last pick of the draft, and that was David Njoku, a guy who I really like.
Athletic upside play, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said that I'd probably drop him after a week on. You're probably right, but you know what? I got to put a tight end out there. Might as well shoot from the hip and see if it hits.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would not have gone Irv Smith. Might have gone Higbee, who went after.
I feel like like you were saying with Mecole Hardman. I think we've kind of seen what Higbee is. Maybe if there's less weapons around him, that Higbee would be kind of the guy to shine a little bit more. But with Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson's kind of dinged up a little bit, but there's wide receiver depth
Van
there.
Jefferson is the next guy in line, I suppose.
Yeah, they still have Tutu Atwell.
Akers is the great catcher of the ball. It's just I don't trust his health at this point.
I don't trust it either for a guy who's already had soft tissue injuries in the preseason. I don't get this Cam Akers third round ADP. I don't get it at all. And that's ADP. That means he's going higher than the 307 in some drafts. That's crazy.
For sure.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I think that's all I got.
Okay.
I thought I had something to go back on your team. I think.
I was going to revisit the Kareem Hunt Damian Harris thing. Is that I probably should have taken Chase Edmonds instead of one of those two guys.
I'm starting to warm up on Edmonds a little bit.
I like him. I like him.
I wonder if Tua hasn't gotten a fair shake over his past couple of years. Injury, COVID. And I just think Edmonds catches the snot out of the ball, man.
Really bad offensive line in Miami over the last couple of years too.
Yep, and I feel like they brought in one or two guys off the top of my head. I can't recall specifically, but
one of them was Terran Armstead from New Orleans. Another one was
that's the one. That's the big one. Yep.
Was it a guy from the Cowboys too?
Is that did he go to Miami?
Who?
Collins is who you're thinking of? Lyle Collins was it Miami or
did he go to
Jacksonville?
I thought he went to the Jets.
No, you're thinking of Dwayne Brown. I don't think the Jets also had Collins, did they? Look that up. I'm going to say a couple of things real quick about I guess that area with
Lyle Collins went to the Bengals and at least had the right region of the country.
Right?
That counts, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to focus basically the same area you were focused on, the Hunt, the Damian Harris, Woods, and Pierce pick. Because, you were kind of set up pretty nicely from Mixon, Kamara, Evans, Metcalf, and Sutton. Well, I guess we could debate about Sutton, but I'd rather debate about Hunt and Harris.
Sutton was the one I wanted to go back and kind of see how he looked in the mirror. And I think I probably would have liked Allen Robinson over Sutton. And really would have liked
and
I really would have liked Amon-Ra St. Brown or Brandon Cooks, you jerk, in the end of the fifth, beginning of the sixth. I love
those two picks for me. Love them.
I know.
Kareem Hunt, I would throw out he's not your handcuff, clearly, but I would throw that out there. He's not a 1A. He's not a, quote, workhorse. He had some contract dispute, which I guess just went away, right? Or a trade request, I think it was. Which is kind of the same thing always, right? It's always.
I think he wanted a little bit more money too, and the Browns said no and no.
He just did that a year or two ago, and they gave him like his whole bonus up front. And were like, here you go, and he was cool for a year or two. I can't remember how long ago it happened. That kind of just happened with Hunt. Hey, I don't blame him. I mean, he was
giving him a hometown discount too.
He was a number 1 running back, both in the NFL and in fantasy. You know, going back to KC, and then of course the criminal stuff. I think it was sexual assault. I don't remember. Pardon me if I'm throwing that.
Did he punch it? Did he punch his pregnant girlfriend in the belly?
I feel really bad that I can't remember what he did, but I felt like it was
I don't think we should honor him by remembering what he did.
There you go. Okay, so there's that. I don't know if I'm completely out on Kareem Hunt though. So there's a spot to pick him. Maybe that's the spot.
I also don't think that he's a handcuff in the sense that because when Nick Chubb went down last year, Dearness Johnson stepped up to be more or less like Kareem Hunt. It's just he's not a handcuff. He's not a handcuff. He's a 1B,
allegedly,
kind of option.
Right. He scares me though that he may not be that because of attitude or overall team locker room shit.
I don't know if that's
quarterback in the beginning of the season.
There's that.
Harris, I feel better about. I know I'm the Ramondre guy, but Harris, I feel like they can both coexist
because
I don't think they have a ton of pass catchers that are just like world beaters.
They got Ty Montgomery.
Well, I think the who's the incumbent for lack of a better Jacoby Myers. I think he's going to get a ton of targets. Don't get me wrong, but again, he's not a world beater. I don't know if he even went in this draft.
Nelson Aguilar.
So I understand Harris isn't the pass catcher. Stevenson is, but I think they can both coexist. I'm a little worried about touchdown regression with Harris. I dislike the Woods pick because of
regression. Can't go both ways, Chris. It can't be
right
forwards and backwards.
What can't
just
be
saying? Regression. The word is overused. It's used improperly.
Is forwards and backwards. I think it is. I think it's positive and negative. I think you have to put the stipulation in front of regression, positive or negative. Anyway, Woods, I don't particularly like, not so much because of the injury, but more so because of the run-first offense.
You just don't like it because Ryan Tannehill burned you last year.
I don't think A.J. Brown was that good last year. Maybe that was because of Tannehill, but guess who the starter is for Tennessee?
And injury.
And injury. But he was so efficient before that, meaning the year or two before. I just don't think he can keep
when
that
he
up.
wasn't injured.
Love the Pierce pick, though, to round things out for that 4-pick discussion. Love the Pierce pick.
Yeah, probably could have hit running back a little bit later. We're running really long on this, by the way.
We're almost done. Going back to that Stevenson pick of mine, I felt like
I could go like another hour.
I'm not.
that I never said ever in my life.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. At least that portion of your draft.
Yeah, I kind of they're in the middle. It got a little weak. Honestly, I kind of like my quarterback early team better than this one. And in that one, my wide receivers were a little weak, but they were kind of pretty strong at the end. Like a lot of upside, like sleeper quote sleeper. As much as a sleeper can exist nowadays.
Let's finish it up with this last couple of things on our draft. Can we love the Detroit Lions passing game anymore? I mean, we're putting a lot on Goff.
Yes.
We are all about Chark. I'm clearly all about...
but you got Chark in the 13th round. So, wait a minute. You took Chark and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Whoops. Whoops. I sure as heck did.
Why didn't you take TJ Hawkinson in there too? Maybe splice in a little DeAndre Swift.
I could have waited on quarterback and taken Goff and stacked them all. No, that wasn't planned.
Gotta catch 'em all, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Way back is when I got...
It's also the 13th round, so like I kind
of it's free.
Doesn't really matter if you're.
I mean, I can't say I regret that Amon-Ra St. Brown pick. I guess the point I was trying to make is who do you think is the one to begin the year? Because clearly it's not the rookie who's hurt, who's not going to play till midseason potentially. So, I mean,
I think it could. I think it could rotate week in and week out. Do the Steelers have a good defense, Chris?
Yeah, they have, at the very least, they have a TJ Watt. By the way,
I meant cornerbacks.
Leads the league in sacks for the last. Well, I think sacks play a lot into pass defense. He's led the league in sacks for the past 2 years total, over Aaron Donald and somebody else that I can't remember.
Aaron Donald is a defensive tackle though, so he's not going to have a lot of sacks. He's just a real dominant presence of a defense.
I would look up his sacks over his career, Josh. That's an incorrect statement. Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but he's never been a sack leader in any particular season.
Except for the fact that he might finish his career, quote, early, he's going to be one of the best sack artists of all time.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like...
I mean, I understand the position gets less sack, but not Aaron Donald. Again, he's second in the last 2 or 3 years. I can't remember the graphic I saw. But it had TJ Watt in first by a pretty big margin over second place Aaron Donald, and then again third place was right behind Aaron Donald, and of course third place was more of a traditional end or edge rusher. But no, Aaron Donald's amazing again.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and back up my statement.
I was trying to be nice.
No, in 2018, Aaron Donald had the most sacks.
Damn near 20, I think, that year.
20 and a half.
Yeah.
But that was not as good as TJ Watt last year with 22 and a half.
Hence why he's only a third-year guy, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Which is nothing compared to Al Baker with his 23 sacks. Just saying.
Who's he play for?
The Lions back in 1978.
Oh, God bless it, Josh. Yeah, Alan Page would destroy them all before they didn't even keep track of stats. Sacks, should I say?
Yeah, I was gonna say because
right they now, literally kept those stats, Chris, before 1970. No, I'm just kidding.
Because right now 23 is the most, and 22 and a half is tied for second.
Deacon Jones, is it Deacon Jones and Alan Page? Deacon Jones would destroy them all. He was the one he couldn't play nowadays because he just clubs dudes in the head. But yeah, he'd have a ton. Anyway, that's not fantasy related. Oops.
Oh, there goes stream. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, it almost looked like it for a whole split second. That transition did not happen.
Was Reggie White a defensive tackle or a defensive end? I can't remember which.
Defensive
That's
end.
what I thought.
I mean, he's a bigger. You got to remember what era he played in. 4-3 defensive end.
Yeah.
Because he was, 280 plus.
Something like that.
He's a big guy, but power, that rip. Oh man, arguably he's the best ever. The minister of defense, very religious man. But obviously Bruce Smith is in first.
Anyways, let's end this bitch.
Let's do it.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Till next week.
This went on way too long.
Oh, hey, there's somebody in chat. Holy mother of pearl. I have no idea what time that happened. Someone dropped Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson in Dynasty. Oh, wow, in Dynasty. In Dynasty today. Should I go all in with Fab on one of them? And who should it be? If you're still around, King Ralph. Ooh, I'm going Elijah Moore easily. Garrett Wilson is the Detroit guy, right? Or no, that's also the Jets guy, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Josh. I hate those guys' names.
They're not that similar.
I have a problem with J's, G's, and W's, apparently. Yeah.
If they don't have your shirt off, you just can't recognize them.
I'm going all in on Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'd spend all my fab, considering apparently he has to move forward with the season with whatever he has, but plus, why?
No, our fab hasn't reset in our Dynasty League.
No, I'm assuming by his lack of details that his fab is his fab moving forward. If he spends $50 of his $100 of fab right now, he has 50 for the entire regular season. I don't know if that's
maybe not,
but he may not. Yeah, Elijah.
Without context. Like see, I knew I was going to regret not leaving that tab open.
It was on my far left monitor. My apologies, King Ralphie. But please tune in next Thursday, every Thursday night during the regular season. And we have not discussed it yet, but we're hoping to maybe do a Sunday morning stream for injury updates and a little bit of lineup advice.
Oh boy, not the way the past couple of Sunday mornings have gone.
For yourself?
Oh yeah.
I think I'll be around. We'll see. But yes, please, King Ralphie, my apologies. Tune back in, give us a sub. We'll be here every week. Apologize. For
We'll
not
pay
getting
more
your-
attention to
We'll
chat.
pay more, and I'll fix that gosh darn pop-up chat thing that I've been
He
delaying
won't, but that's
for
okay.
several weeks. I have an intro to work on too, so there's that. But anyway, King Ralphie and other listeners and watchers, it's been amazing, like it always is.